Welcome back in, everybody, to the Postgame Pod here at Auburn Undercover. Nathan King, joined by Jason Caldwell, Patrick Bingham behind the camera as another extremely disheartening loss. As Hugh Freeze has said, this team is finding lots of different ways to lose games rather than win them. And tonight that came in double overtime. 23-17, Auburn falls to Missouri. And Jason, we're basically just running through the same things at this point, and
this really felt more like last year a little bit.
It did. Yes. But I think Hugh Freeze put it very aptly after the game, as Gene Chiswick comes and says hello. I think Hugh Freeze put it very aptly after the game, but there's really nothing else left to say at this point, and that's sort of how this program feels when they're in a position where they just cannot get over the hump and make winning plays to be a quality football team. And there was winning play after winning play after winning play available for you tonight. And once again, just couldn't pull it out.
Yeah, and credit the defense for kind of keeping you in it a little bit. But even then, you gave up 5 or 6 third downs of probably 7 yards or longer in this game. And there were a couple of those plays that you didn't make on even that side of the ball. I think back to Kinsley Fausto coming up. Maybe had an interception, maybe a pick six, and it goes through your hands.
Yeah.
You get down to the 1 yard line and can't score, have to kick a short field goal. Again, that was reminiscent of last week. You had 2 opportunities down close, and can't push it in. You can't make a play. But everything comes back to, you mentioned winning plays. This team can't do it. They're not finding a way to make winning plays. I mean, heck, Tim Coleman is as good a receiver as I have seen at Auburn. And he drops what may have been a touchdown pass, another short one there that would have been 6 or 7 yards. Comes back, makes really big plays. You're in the game, but when you have to have it in critical moments, you think about it, is your quarterback's got to be the guy that makes that. And I keep telling back to that, going, listen, Jackson Arnold has done some good things, but in those moments, holding on to the football, takes a sack again with the game on the line, you got to throw it somewhere. The ball's got to be in the air. I don't care if there's 17 people rushing it. Sooner or later, you got to throw it up. And once again, in those moments, they just can't find a way to make a play. And you lost a game that I thought you should have won. And maybe all but Texas A&M, I stand here tonight going, look, I felt like they should have won every game except that one. And instead, you're sitting here 3-4.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you saw a big difference between quarterbacks handling that type of stuff, because Pribula had a lot of issues in this game. He's not overwhelmingly good. But there were a lot of moments late at the end of regulation and in overtime where he stood in pressure really well and was coached and knew that it was coming and was able to deliver that ball. Yeah, I mean, look, this game ended very fittingly, Jason, when you talk about Jackson Arnold and you talk about, at the end of the game, taking a sack in overtime, taking a sack in the second overtime.
Correct.
I think back felt like it was building.
Yeah, I think back to even the missed field goal where you take a sack and run out of bounds instead of throwing the ball away, and then you took a sack, and then it ends up being a 37-yarder instead of a 29-yarder to Alex Pearson, who pushed it right at the end of the first half. You're like, even those plays, you're like, look, those yards matter, and they matter tonight. And you miss a couple of short field goals, you have one going off the goalpost, and it's the difference between winning and losing. And it's frustrating. As I wrote, it's frustrating for the guys in the locker room. It's frustrating for the coaches. It's frustrating for us. I know it's frustrating for the fans. But it's seeped into everything now.
For sure.
And it feels like there's not a whole lot of way to get out of this.
No, and that's why I think maybe we'll see what happens in terms of major changes. We'll see. But if it is still Hugh Freeze, I just don't know how you now get to this point, which we've been saying this, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how you don't get to this point and now start to make some changes, particularly a quarterback. That's kind of just what I'm mentioning. But the quarterback thing almost is a little bit maddening, because Hugh Freeze talked all week. It's like, hey, where do you want to see Jackson Arnold be better? He said critical moments. He said on the radio before the game, well, he talked about the press conferences too, like preparing with those critical moments. And lo and behold, you get into the important moments of the game, and it just doesn't happen. So I think right now, if you're Auburn, you're in a position where from the top down, just kind of keep trotting the same stuff out here, and I would say you're surprised when you see the same result, but the problem is you're not. Nobody in here is surprised.
No, you're not, and that's part of it now. Is you and listen, like we said, it's not all on the level.
Sure,
you got to protect better at times. You got to make some plays down the field. You got to catch some passes, which there were some drops tonight, some big ones. But in the end, you start going like, where do you lean on? You lean on quarterback to be the guy that leads those things happening. And go, hey, you know what? They drop a ball, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a play. and it's not happening for this team. Well, you can look on the offensive line, but hey, Kel Ellis steps in and hey, Punk did a pretty dang good job. You got some other young guys that might have a chance to go, okay, look, throw me in there and see what I can do. It's time. It's time to do something now. You're 3-4. I know you're going on the road to Arkansas. But listen, it's time to try to find a spark to see if you can kind of jumpstart things the rest of the season.
And speaking to that point, you are past, so you and I talked this week about you are no longer in a position, if you were having a winning season, a good season, you would take a win anyway.
Correct.
You're no longer at that point, but now it's almost flipped back the other way where you do just need to start doing things to win. This was the last bastion of, hey, you need to show some improvement on offense, but now it's like,
you can't go to Arkansas lose, and you're going to have to score points because they're going to score. I mean, if you think about what's coming up down the road, it looks a lot different than it did now because Arkansas has scored by Vanderbilt can absolutely score, and Kentucky pushes Texas in overtime. You're right. You just got to find a way to win a football game right now, and I don't know that doing what we've seen over these first 7 games is going to allow you to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the big takeaway here tonight is that we are learning / we have maybe reached the end of learning that it is going to yield that, and doing the same things over and over again from the staff to the personnel is going to yield these results. And you talked about it after the game. Yes, they are close, and he said it. You know, he is as tired of saying that as everyone else is tired of hearing it. So it's just going to be.
It's that old saying though, it only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's the thing, is that it's.
Neither one of those things happened tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the point now for Auburn where this was as bleak a result as any of these, just because, and you could see it on the guys' faces.
Look, you could see it, and you go, man, it's there for the taking.
Yeah.
And you felt, even when it got to with Auburn with a lead, and you don't finish off that drive, you have a chance to finish it off and build points, add to the lead. At that moment, you know. And they're going to let this game slip away again, and you could feel it happening over and over again, and it's the feeling that we felt now for about the last month.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't have to beat around the bush. People are going to be paying attention to see what happens on Sunday if Auburn chooses to keep Hugh Freeze as their head coach.
I don't foresee a move happening. But again, I think changes have to happen. I think it starts at quarterback. I think if you look at offensive line, again, we've said for a couple of weeks all things are on the table. They got to be on the table now.
They absolutely have to be. And so, it's going to be interesting as we sit here moving into the Arkansas week. And I mean, you can 4 straight ranked opponents. It is a difficult stretch. That's absolutely true. But you also can't be in a position where you're just relying upon worse teams in order to win games.
When you have an opportunity to win all 4, but absolutely should have won 3, in my opinion, then they start to feel a little different.
Yeah.
Man, you just outclassed in 4 games. There's not much you can do about it. Like maybe the last couple of years, that's not where this team is. This team is, from a talent standpoint, in my opinion, this is one of the top 15 most talented teams in the country, in my opinion. Absolutely. And you've lost 4 straight games. And you start to look at guys. You mentioned the young guys emerging. I mean, like they clearly saw something in Perry Thompson the last couple of weeks, and now he's sort of coming on. So you just have to highlight those things. As Jason sort of mentioned, you cannot go to Arkansas and lose to an interim Arkansas coach. I don't care who that interim Arkansas coach's name is and what he's been doing on offense. And so, going to be really interesting. But the crux of it is that we sit here once again on Saturday in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and Auburn has lost another just really heartbreaking game. And again, just a team that, as Hugh Freeze has said, is finding ways to lose. We'll see whether that changes at any point this season and against anybody. So Missouri 23, Auburn 17 in double overtime. For Jason Caldwell, I'm Nathan King, Patrick Bingham behind the camera. Head over to auburnundercover.com tonight and through to Sunday for all of our coverage and updates and all that kind of stuff. We'll see you guys over there.